This video topic came from an Instagram message that I received. How do I choose between web development and native app development? And I want to answer this right away with how I answered that message, and then I'm going to deep dive into it a little bit more. So how do you choose between native app development and web development? Well, there's a couple questions you have to ask yourself. This isn't something that someone can definitively give you an answer on. So the couple questions that I think are really important to figure out are, number one, where do you want your apps? And do you want them to be accessible by anywhere, anyone without barrier to entry? Then that probably means you want to go web development, just because every device nowadays has a web browser that you can navigate to and use and go to see a website. Now, do you want your app to exist only on specific platforms, or do you want to take advantage of platform-specific features? And if that's the case, then you probably want to head towards native app development. And that's really the best way to figure out which one you want to dive into and which one you want to start taking advantage of. And that's really the best way to figure out which one to dive into. If you liked this nugget of info, then please hit the like button and subscribe. That way you can get notified when I post more videos and when I go live. And if you're not quite sold yet, then keep watching, because I'm going to dive into this a bit more and explain my thought process and how I became more focused on iOS development. But first, if you like watching people code and listen to chill music, then make sure to subscribe and hit the bell, because every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 6:45 CST, I work on iOS apps live and have chill music in the background. So you're probably thinking, there has to be more than asking that question, right? Well, there's a little bit more. And the next thing that I would say you want to focus on is, what are your goals specifically? Are you just doing it so that you can eventually get a full-time job, either working freelance or at a company? If that's the case, then you probably want to consider what the market is asking for to make this your career. So what do clients need? What do the companies that you're looking at applying to, what are they in need of also? How can you solve their problem? So if you're not completely sold on one or the other, that is also something you should consider. Where is the future going? And what are companies in need of? What are clients in need of? Now, if you're just wanting to learn and maybe make some side income, or, eventually become that full-time indie developer, then I'm going to say, go back to the beginning of the video, watch those first couple questions be answered of, what do you want to get out of this? Where do you want your users? All that kind of stuff. So those are really the type of questions that are important whenever you're trying to either just learn or be an independent developer. And if you're just wanting to learn and become an indie developer, then I would also say you want to choose something that you're not going to get burned out on. So I would also say choose something that you're interested in. If developing on the web is not interesting to you whatsoever, then go for that native app platform, and that's where you want to start investing your time. Now, you might be thinking, hey, I just started and I don't know which one to pick. Well, if you just started and you don't know which one to pick, then I really suggest starting with something that gives you a quick return on investment, like front-end web development. It's easy and doesn't require more than a plain text editor. I mean, actually, even nowadays, it doesn't require anything more than a browser to get started with. You can go to sites like codepen.io, which work on Chrome, on Chromebooks, iPads, Macs, iPhones even. I'm sure they work on Androids. I don't have an Android device, so I can't verify that. And that'll just allow you to start playing with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, start getting your feet wet in that type of development. And then you can start shifting towards more pointed development if you want to get out of that web development sphere. So whenever I started my journey, I started with front-end web development, and then shifted from front-end web development to iOS app development. And then I actually started in codepen.io, and that's what got me more interested in the development world. And what was great about CodePen is that it allowed me to quickly see what I was doing and iterate on what I was doing without knowing a lot of the background. So like, you see a lot on blogs, and I'm sure on other YouTube videos, of how React, Vue, Angular, these are all the types of frameworks you need. Or even if you go and take a boot camp, they focus usually on one specific framework. Well, with CodePen, I didn't have to focus on a framework. I didn't have to even worry about importing CSS files or JavaScript files. I literally just typed into those 3 editors what I wanted, and it just spit out. I didn't have to worry about a dev environment and setting it up properly right away. Of course, once I graduated out of CodePen and I wanted to get more skills under my belt, so React, Vue, Angular, I had to break out of there. And then I was already comfortable enough with the basics to be able to go and do other things. Now, then I switched into iOS development because I answered the "what are my goals" question that I talked about previously. And my 3 goals were do something I enjoyed, and that didn't help much because I just really like learning new things. And both web and native app development does this for me. So I could always go and learn another framework in web development. I could always go and actually dive into macOS or Swift development. I'm not going to touch on Windows or Android because, again, I don't have those. Those don't interest me. And you'll see why in my second goal was to put an app on the Apple App Store. And to be honest, that solidified exactly what I needed to learn. Because I only cared about the Apple ecosystem, I was able to just solidify and say, I want to focus on iOS app development or macOS development. I just want to learn Swift and Swift UI. And I was able to dive in and do that. And then as a stretch goal or a goal that I wanted was to create something that gave me some kind of passive income. And why number 3 was important was because I wanted to also, because to put apps on the Apple App Store, you have to pay a $99 development fee. To be part of the developer program with Apple, you have to pay a $99 year fee. So I wanted to create an app that would just pay for itself, basically. So my goal every year, now that I've put an app on the App Store, is to make at least $99 so that it's just a wash on that Apple App Store. It just pays for itself every year over year. So far, it has been successful this year. This has been the first full year of this. So those were my 3 goals. And like I said, goal number 2 meant that I had to learn iOS and macOS development so that I could be in the Apple App Stores. Does this mean I only work on iOS development or iOS projects or macOS projects? No, I still have to occasionally do some web development. So like I have my blog that I like doing web development on. I have to make the apps need websites so that people can go and find them through Google and stuff like that. And I code all of that myself just because I want to keep my web development skills handy. So just because you learn one doesn't mean you can't go and venture in the other also. And knowing both is really useful because you never know when an opportunity is going to present itself. And at some point, I also need to start learning server-side development so I can work more on my goal number 3, which was to create passive income. If I want to put subscriptions in the app, that needs server-side programming. And because I'm already familiar with JavaScript, I'll probably just stick in the JavaScript web world of server-side programming. And that's really my thoughts on how you choose between web development and native app development. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you have any feedback, please leave a comment. I'm always open to feedback or thoughts about this topic that you have. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I do Code With Me live sessions every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:45 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you want to see progress shots and, some thoughts on tech, then go follow my Instagram at Part-Time Developer. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.